Hello, everyone. For the project analysis, we have chosen the topic of Sydney Metro. Though Sydney Metro is a huge project, our focus would be just on the Northwest Line, which is already completed in 2019, and which is also one of the modes of transport for our university. Our group members are Nirali, Vinton, Ozair, Louise, and myself, Pranav. Being one of Australia's largest public transport transformation projects, Sydney's Metro Northwest runs from Chatswood all the way to Tallawong. The metro is completely autonomous, that is driverless, and it has a high speed of 100 kilometers per hour. During peak hours, the metro service is available every 4 minutes, further limiting wait times and allowing quick transport for the people of Sydney. The history of the metro project is quite interesting. The announcement of the metro project was initially made in 1998. The Northwest Link is the first phase of the very big metro project of Sydney. Further, due to certain issues in the practicality of the project and the budget blowout, the Northwest Link was initially narrowed down to the construction of just Epping and Chatswood railway links. In the year 2010, the government released a report wherein additional $8 billion funding was given to the metro project. Finally, after 15 years from its inception of the idea to the commencement of the project, in the year 2013, the construction began, and by the end of 2019, the metro was open to public. Now we'll be looking at the project scope. Sydney's Metro Northwest includes 36 kilometers of railway line from Tallawong to Chatswood, which comprises of 8 newly constructed railway stations and 5 upgraded railway stations, providing accessibility and capacity to its commuters. The project created 15 kilometers of twin tunnels between Epping and Bella Vista, a 4-kilometer elevated SkyTrain from Bella Vista to Rouse Hill, and an iconic 270 meters long cable-style bridge over Windsor Road at Rouse Hill. In addition to the track and tunnel developments, 4,000 new car park and ride spaces were constructed, along with 22 new trains being built in India and then brought to Australia. The work breakdown structure of the entire project was divided into 4 important work packages, namely tendering, civil works, property build-up, and track, station, and operations, which are further talked in detail in the following section. Here we're looking at a Gantt chart of the work packages. We can see that the early works, which comprise of the tenderings, was completed by the end of 2014. The construction of the tunnels, rails, and bridges were completed by the first quarter of 2017, along with the viaducts and surface works completed by the end of 2016. Operation trains and systems, as you can see, are ongoing activities due to the maintenance and service requirements. Now we'll be looking at what were the key objectives. With Sydney's population expected to grow to 6 million by 2031, Sydney's central business district is likely to remain the primary employment center, with a third of the opportunities in Sydney's northwest region, including Macquarie Park and Rouse Hill. The main project objective of the Sydney Metro Network is to develop and provide a safe, high-quality, integrated, as well as affordable transport service to the customers by improving the network reliability and linking communities to the new growth areas of the Northwest Sydney for jobs and services. The Metro Network also aims to understand the customer needs through community and stakeholder engagement, and thus it tries to facilitate a shift from the road to rail, further reducing the roadways congestions. It further aims to ensure environmental and social sustainability by minimizing negative impact on the communities of the environment.
Stakeholder management. Before getting into the discussion about stakeholders per se, this is an overview of how Sydney Metro went about delegating different construction delivery contracts. Transport NSW, which is TMSW, took build, design, and bid approach for 3 main contract deliveries. Expressions of interest were invited from different contractors, followed by shortlisting the top bidders before finalizing upon one. And once finalized, these contractors then outsourced various aspects of construction to other smaller companies and contractors. Not only did this become a heavily time-consuming process, but it also added tremendously to the increasing complexity of stakeholder management. So what was anticipated to finish in 2017 ended up prolonging and finishing in 2019. The more the stakeholders, the greater the complexity, and it increases with greater interdependencies. This slide shows the overarching divisions of stakeholders. It mainly included divisions from New South Wales government, subcontractors, and other local communities. However, this is not even a fraction of the total number of stakeholders that were actually involved in the process from start to end. Sydney Metro started off with an in-house project management team. However, because of growing complexity, they had to hand it over to Turner and Townsend for further program management. They generated a stakeholder and community involvement plan, which was reviewed and renewed every 6 months. The project worked diligently to collect information on various issues such as design, waste management, operations, traffic control, etc., through multiple engagement tools that were set up for communities, including schools, face-to-face interaction, media engagement, etc., to set up a two-way conversation between Sydney Metro and other stakeholders. Also, they set up like a notification system which alerted the local communities for upcoming traffic construction works and the likely disruptions that were going to cause. So setting expectations in a way. For such an extensive work, it required multidimensional planning and approach, for which Sydney Metro set up different programs and teams for timely interaction and response. Not having such a comprehensive plan may have gained a lot of negative media traction, created a lot more unhappier local communities and neighbors, and may have caused unnecessary interruptions in the whole process. However, because they have had such a plan from the get-go, it can be fairly said that Sydney Metro tried their best to mitigate the risks related to the complexity of stakeholder management.
Hello, I am Vinton. I am going to discuss about financial management of the project. The project budget was 8.3 billion. However, the completed cost of the project is 7.3 billion, which is 12% less than the budget. In terms of financial management, this is a successful project. The financial advice was provided by Ernst & Young for Sydney Metro project. Therefore, we can take some comfort in the budgeting process. Under budget is a better problem to have than budget blown up. For example, Sydney Light Rail project. Not only that, major civil projects such as Sydney Metro allow at least 20% as contingency in their budget for unknown factors. Therefore, in our view, the budget process is fair and reasonable. The funding for this project was outsourced and executed cleverly. There was debt funding as well as equity funding. Plenary Group was tasked with managing the debt funding due to its expertise in the industry. Plenary Group is a long-term independent investor organization, has branches in Canada, USA, and in Australia. Debts were acquired from 3 major Australian banks, namely NAB, ANZ, and Westpac, and from few other international banks. Marubeni Corporations was selected to manage its equity funding. Marubeni Corporation is a well-known Japan-based investment organization. The equity contribution came from 6 major financial investment firms, including Marubeni and Plenary Group. So far, we looked at the budget and the funding process of the project. Now, we look at the cost and the contract. There are three major contracts in this project. The tunneling and civil work was awarded to John Holland, worth 1.15 billion. Likewise, the surface civil work was given to Imprelijo Solani joint venture in December 2013 for 340 million. And operational train and services system contract was 3.7 billion, was awarded to NRT Consortium in September 2014. This is the largest contract of the whole project, which also includes 15-year maintenance program. The contracts were issued by following a proper closed bidding process. Finally, the return on investment. In terms of the purpose of this project, the return is achieved because the commuters are using without complaint. Apart from early teething issues, where the train stopped during the journey due to power outages and software malfunctions. Due to COVID-19 lockdowns, it's too early to measure the full potential. The government has also introduced value capture scheme in order to increase its return from its investment. Value capture scheme, where the property values increase due to this project, and the owners of those projects are asked to contribute to the government by way of increased land tax and state infrastructure contributions. Therefore, as far as the financial management is concerned, this project is a successful one. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Louise, and I'm going to talk about risk management. Risk is unavoidable, and implanting an effective risk management strategy to minimize risk can be effective. Time is a big constraint in the construction industry. This leads to less optimal risk management, which can have large consequences. SMN was the first large-scale metro project. An extremely detailed risk management plan to account for uncertainties and complexities of the project was needed. Firstly, a major failure in managing a construction issue was evident from failure of SkyTrain construction. Secondly, inadequate assessment and implementation of WHS safety measures resulting in severe injuries on site was another area of ineffective risk management in certain phases of the project. SkyTrain failure. The SkyTrain section consists of 115 linked bridges made of precast concrete bound with steel ropes and 270 cable bridges over Windsor Road. 3 precast concrete spans had to be replaced due to cracking post installations, raising concerns about the design and the capacity of the span to withstand colossal stress, which questioned the structural integrity. This caused a threat to the public safety. This resulted in an investigation called by TNSW. The Roads and Maritime Services raised safety concerns with viaduct running above one of the busiest roads. This resulting in delays in approving further viaduct construction. After a long delays and complex stakeholder engagement and running over the allocated budget of $50 million, the viaduct and SkyTrain bridges was completed in 2018. The part of the project had been filled with the design problem, cost blowouts, and delays since the construction started in 2014. The risk here could have been scrunched better and mitigated earlier on, given there were multiple indications of things going wrong. Management of these issues, however, caused major delays and, more importantly, budget blowout for SkyTrain construction. Work health and safety. During the course of SMN construction, there have been some serious work health and safety incidents due to safety breaches. They reported a serious safety breaches in 2015 and 18 with a lack of appropriate fencing that resulted in accidents. Additionally, John Holland was charged with offense under Work Health and Safety Act for failing adherence to safe work environment protocols, with a possible penalty of $1.5 million and ComCare had ordered SMN to halt all this construction work in the 30 kilometers rail tunnel due to serious safety breaches. Such incidents led to construction delays and reputational damage for the project that the government was priding themselves on. The contractors could have utilized an experienced certified safety manager to inspect and perform a thorough risk assessment. Following this, the result of the assessment should have been discussed on site, and hence the aforementioned accident have been prevented. Given the duration and the scale of the project, the work health and safety risks were managed fairly effectively, as the number of injuries on the site were low. So what are the key lessons that we learned from SMN project? Greater the complexity of the project, the more collaboration is required. From SMN, we have learned that they have extensive collaboration methodologies in place to ensure communication and collaboration were effective and efficient. As well have we learned that stakeholder management plans helps a long way. Mitigating risk is easier than managing them. Proactively identifying as many risk factors as possible earlier on in the project means that they can be effectively mitigated or prepared for in the future. With the progression of the project, the cost impact increases dramatically, as well as was evident for SkyTrain failure and WHS accidents. Managing the risk once the damage is done not only incurs significant financial hit, but also causes reputational damage and raises doubts about the integrity of the project among other stakeholders. Financial management. Managing large projects such as SMN requires several levels of budgeting. Project budgeting process should consider the unknowns of the project and provide adequate contingencies. Outsourcing of project financial management is acceptable where there's inadequate expertise within the project team, similar to SMN.
Mini project analysis. The assignment provided us with the experience of a project management within our team. The key objectives of this project being practical implications of project management concepts and theories and their execution on completed infrastructural projects, working collaboratively in project team and delivering the assignment, fulfilling the assignment requirements within the set time frame. We approached our mini project in the light of project management phases. Starting off with project definition through collective research, we chose Sydney Metro Northwest as our project of concern, based on its influence on Sydney's urban infrastructure and information available. Following a defining of the project, and the formation of the team, the planning phase was put into motion. A clear and concise roadmap was created, focusing on equal distribution of work for all team members. In this regard, a rough schedule was created, followed by the work breakdown structure to provide the team with clear directives. The execution phase was strictly aligned to the work schedule and work breakdown structure. Following finalizing the project, individual research was conducted to understand the scope of the project for our assignment. To ensure time efficiency, parallel activities were conducted, focusing on preparing the presentation and the report concurrently, where two sub-teams worked on both the activities. The individual research was a continuous process as it constantly contributed to both the activities. Completion of the project, the presentation was more of a crucial path as its deadline was a week ahead of the final report. Google Document was used to accumulate all the research findings for easy accessibility. Furthermore, Canva was used for preparing slides where all team members had access to it. For quick and easy communication, WhatsApp was used for team coordination. To ensure quality of the report and to avoid discrepancies, the team strongly adhered to the marking rubric and constantly shared feedbacks on each other's work. Schedules were agreed upon unanimously to ensure timely submission of the tasks. As multiple team members were working on each part of the report, a concern was raised regarding the language consistency. To mitigate this, it was decided that following the completion of everyone's parts, one person would be assigned to collate the information in the final report. Finally, the presentation was submitted within the due date. and the final report has been forwarded to a final draft and awaits format adjustments as this presentation is being recorded. In terms of challenges, forming the group was clearly our first hurdle, as most of us were not introduced to each other prior to this unit. The 5 members are from 3 different time zones, Australia, New Zealand, and Denmark, which was challenging in terms of setting meeting times. As all the team members had simultaneous submissions for their other units, time management was often quite challenging. However, there are multiple factors which played a crucial role behind the success of this mini project. Clear expectations, well-defined responsibilities, and workflow, and the project schedule provided the team members with clear directives. Alignment with the marking rubric, assignment guideline, and constructive feedback from fellow group members ensured constant monitoring of the assignment quality. Flexibility provided to the team members considering the personal issues that they were facing in terms of other submissions they had, gave them the ability to work without being under pressure. And all of it finally contributed to the completion of our mini project.